The dangerous temperatures we saw last week will be back. A heat advisory has been put in place for most of eastern and central Washington, and it stretches into Idaho. But will it be like last week's historic temperatures? Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Joshua Robinson, and the answer to that question can only be answered by meteorologist Thomas Patrick, who joins us right now from the Outdoor Weather Center. Thomas, how really are we looking this week compared to last week?
Yeah, to answer that question, it is no, but it will still be hot. In fact, it lies in the terminology of the warning versus advisory. Advisory being the lower of the two criteria. We're under heat advisories for tomorrow. If you remember from the historic heat wave, we had the excessive heat warnings, which was the much more severe criteria. So no, it is not going to be an all-time record breaking. I actually don't even think we'll break record highs, but it will still be plenty hot. Temperatures pushing triple digits in Spokane. I go 98 for the high tomorrow. There will be triple digits in central Washington, which is usually where it's going to be hottest. But it's not just the heat. Some of the area will be a bit smoky and hazy for tomorrow morning as well, particularly in southeastern Washington, most of central Idaho as well. I think Spokane and Coeur d'Alene could be included in that as well. Look at our computer modeling here. Actually, quite a bit of wildfire smoke from central Washington, and the ASOTIN complex fire actually pushing northward towards Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. So coming up, going to detail just how long this is going to last and if we'll see any air quality impacts in addition to the high heat this weekend.
And along with that, wildfire season is off and running. Take a look at your screen. We are tracking several fires tonight that are scorching our region. Some are growing as we speak, while firefighters are getting the upper hand on others. So by far, one of the biggest fires burning in the inland northwest tonight is the ASOTIN complex fire near Clarkston. That complex fire has grown now to almost 28,000 acres. Level 3 evacuations are in place for nearby communities, and crews have that fire 10% contained. Going now over to East Wenatchee, where crews have the Batterman Road fire now 100% contained. The fire, which started on Monday, scorched about 14,000 acres. Level 1 evacuations do still remain in place. A little closer to home, the ANDRUS fire burning in the West Plains is now 80% contained. It's still holding at about 230 acres tonight as all evacuations have been lifted. Heading now to central Idaho, where the DIXIE fire has grown to about 13,000 acres. As of this morning, the fire is still 0% contained. Evacuations are in place for nearby communities. And today, Idaho Governor Brad Little issued an emergency declaration due to these wildfires burning around the state. With that declaration, Little has mobilized the Idaho National Guard to help during an already historic fire season. Scott Phillips with the Idaho Department of Land says right now the state is about a month ahead of schedule when it comes to the severity and number of fires so far this year. And with hot weather conditions only set to continue, he says the call to bring in the National Guard was absolutely necessary.
For us to respond appropriately and ensure that we have the resources we need to protect lives, property, and forest resources in Idaho, we really do need additional resources. And with the governor's actions today, it will help us on two fronts, both in terms of providing aircraft resources, which are crucial for fire suppression, as well as additional staffing, particularly when it comes to providing logistics support for the fire response.
Once the National Guard members arrive, they can be requested to a number of areas or positions across Idaho. And those requests will be determined based on the immediate needs of other local and statewide firefighters across the state. But they could also jump in to help behind the scenes by delivering much needed help to the firefighters already working on front lines and in the air.
I could see National Guard personnel helping backfill some of the vacancies we have at the fire cache, and additionally providing logistic support through vehicles, providing vehicles and driving vehicles to deliver crucial supplies to fire sites.
This is the first time the Idaho Department of Lands has made a request like this from Governor Little, as the Department of Land continues asking anyone within their own agency with fire line qualifications to make themselves available for fire assignments when possible. Now, Washington's Department of Natural Resources is trying to stay ahead of this year's wildfire season as well, jumping even on small fires to try and keep them from spreading out of control. Just today, the agency increased fire danger ratings to the extreme category in parts of eastern Washington. That means fires can start quickly and become very intense. It also means any activities that could cause fires, like a bonfire, are now prohibited. DNR protects millions of acres of land in the state and also helps local agencies when wildfires break out. So far this year, most wildfires have been contained relatively quickly and without large amounts of destruction. But because of the record-breaking temperatures and severe drought conditions throughout most of the state, officials say it's important for all aspects of fighting the fires to be in coordination.
Well, it's very important, but you've got to have all of it. You know, it doesn't, just the aviation isn't going to do it. You've got to have the firefighters on the ground who are going to support what that aircraft is delivering to the ground. So if you don't have those two things working together, you can't put a fire out just with aviation.
DNR is using more aviation resources than normal this year because of the pandemic, but we still can't let our guard down. We have already seen that record-breaking number of wildfires so far this summer. Most outdoor and agricultural burning has been banned through September 30th. And if you would like to know more about the wildfires burning across Washington and Idaho, text the word FIRE to 509-448-2000. We'll send you the information directly to your phone. New tonight, a Burley man has been ordered to pay almost $80,000 after he intentionally started 5 fires on Bureau of Land Management land. On top of the hefty restitution, 50-year-old Scott Halford was sentenced to serve 6 months of home confinement and 5 years of probation. The fires he started in the Milner Recreation area burned hundreds of acres. Now, not only did Halford admit that he started the fires in court, he was also photographed driving towards and away from the origin of 2 fires. Meanwhile, Montana Fish and Wildlife believe they have killed the bear that dragged a camper out of her tent and then killed her on Tuesday. The bear was killed at the scene of a second chicken coop raid that was similar to the one that happened in Orlando the night of the fatal attack. Park officials will be doing a DNA test on the bear to confirm. Also, just today, a man survived a separate grizzly bear attack near Rexburg, Idaho, where a mama bear charged toward him. He laid on the ground to protect himself while the bear struck him several times. Now, he was injured, but is expected to survive.
We recovered another victim. The total number of confirmed deaths is now 79.
The number of deaths continue to rise in the deadly Florida condo collapse. One additional victim was found today, as you just heard, bringing that total to 79, with 61 people still unaccounted for. 13 million pounds of concrete and debris have been hauled away so far. However, there was a little bit of good news today. A missing cat that had lived on the 9th floor was found and reunited with its family. Meanwhile, back in Washington, the vaccine lottery seems to be working, as state officials say. Based on pre- and post-vaccine lottery trends, they estimate nearly 30,000 people got vaccinated because of the lottery. A majority of those getting vaccinated are under 18.
Our goal really was to help the state to get to that 70% so we can reopen safely, people can get back to their normal lives and get our economy to recover.
Now, the state says right now 69.6% of people over 16 have gotten at least 1 dose, and it's not too late to get your name in for the big $1 million prize drawing next week. Well, dozens of people have died in the Pacific Northwest historic heat wave, including here in Spokane. But North Idaho officials say no one has died of heat-related issues there. Next, we verify. Plus, later, it's straight out of Ocean's 11, a jewelry heist caught on camera. We're back in 90 seconds.